Hi, this is a quick tutorial about how to create a multi-state object in InDesign. A multi-state object is a collection of images or assets that you would like to group and then navigate through one at a time. The first thing I have to have is some objects or assets, and I have 4 images on my screen. I'm going to select each one of these images, and then using the Align tool, I'm going to select my background object as my target, and then travel up to my Align tools and say that I would like to align the horizontal and vertical centers of all of these objects to the key object that I designated by clicking on it. So I'm going to click there and click there. Okay, so now all of my objects are lined up. And I'm going to go over to my workspace picker and make sure that I'm in my digital publishing panel, and then I'm going to come over to my object states. So since I have assets already selected, I can click on the create selection to multi-state object, and then I'm going to name my multi-state object slideshow, and I can identify each one of these states, but in this case I'm not going to, because I'm just going to create navigation buttons that go from one state to the next, so naming them is not essential. If I, for example, would like to be able to navigate to each state individually, I would have to know what the name of each state was. So something more descriptive than state 1, state 2, blah blah would be helpful. Okay, so now I've got my object states, my multi-state object, and I am ready to navigate out of this, and then when I return to my screen I see that I do have this multi-state object, and I have graphics set up that I'm going to turn into buttons. So at this point these are just simple arrows with a bar at one end and an arrowhead at the other that I've created. And I'm going to go to my Buttons and Forms menu, and I'm going to click on the Make Convert to Button, or Make a New Button at the bottom of my screen. The type is button. There are other possibilities, but in this case button is what I'm looking for. The name of the button is going to be my next button, and on the event of release or tap, what I want is to go to the next state. When I go to the next state of my multi-state object, I would like to stop at the last state. So now I'm going to go to the other graphic and create a button from it, and I'm going to call this previous, and on release or tap I'm going to go to the previous state, and I'm going to come down and stop at the first state. Alright, so to see if this works, I'm going to come down to the bottom of this Buttons and Forms panel and hover over the icon in the lower left hand corner. This is how I can preview my spread for an EPUB. And I've launched my spread previewer. There we go. Alright, so making this bigger. And I'm going to click on the right arrow to go to the next. When I get to the end, it's going to stop, and I'm going to go to my back arrow, my previous arrow. When I get to the end, it will stop. So that is how to make a multi-state object, which is functioning in this case as a slideshow, and then how to make the navigation buttons that go along with it, so you can travel through your slideshow or multi-state object as you desire.